When I moved to America, I've only been to 2 churches. I've only been to 2 churches since I came to America where I was a member of. The first one is Bishop Donko's church, where he had started it, and he anointed other leaders that continued when I came in 2005. I served at Temple of Deliverance. I was always gifted. I was able to do what I'm able to do. God was still grooming me and raising me. But I never overstepped where God had placed me. Why did I never overstep where God placed me? Because I understood authority. The only person in that church, that knew that God's hand was upon me in a mighty way, it was Apostle Gershon, who is my associate pastor now. I've known him since I was about 18, 19. And you remember I told you guys that he was like, no, we need to cultivate what is in you. I'll call you at 5 a.m. every day for us to pray. I did that for a little bit. I had to escape from him because it was too much for me at that time. I was still producing music. I was still doing other things that I couldn't keep up. So I dodged him. But I told him one thing. I said, Apostle, when the time comes for me to do God's work, you're going to stand with me. He laughed. So then, one day there was a man that was really drunk, and that man had an encounter with the Lord. So him and his wife ran into the church while the service was about to end, and I was on drums. In that church, all I did was play drums. And everybody was trying to pray for these people, but they could not get any results. And the power of God just grabbed me off the drums, and I went straight to the man and the woman. I said, leave them and don't come back. Man, the demons manifested and left them. And I went back, I started taking the drums apart. The senior pastors had already left, but everybody that was there was like, wait, what in the name of God just happened? And then that church dissolved. Then I went to Harvest Celebration Church. In Harvest Celebration Church, it's a church led by Apostle Leslie Peters. And Apostle Leslie Peters is a great man, he's a good man. And he mentored me and fathered me for a period. And his son, Jesse, was that was one of the most amazing friends I've ever had in my life. Jesse went home to be with the Lord, but me and Jesse would play drums in the church. He was the primary drum player. Player, and I was the sound guy. I was at the back on the mixing board. Make my mic louder. Okay, reduce this, turn this up. That was me. I was back there. Did that for years. Never asked for an opportunity to preach. Never asked for an opportunity to take over. Never did anything like that. The apostle knew that I was gifted. He knew that God has called me. And I remember when his son went to be with the Lord, it was really painful for all of us. But his He loved me like a father for sure. And I started doing, God told me, start doing the Thursday night prophetic services. That's when I had my encounter in America now, where the Lord commanded me to start preaching. You know what I did? I went to Pastor Leslie because he was my pastor, he was my apostle. I went to him and I told him, Father, the Lord spoke to me to start doing this, but I want your blessing. And I said, I have an idea. I don't want to pastor a church. If you see him, ask him this, he will tell you. I said, I don't want to pastor a church. And that's actually where I met Prophet Ron. I said, I don't want to pastor a church. What if instead of doing the meetings at the house, how about I do it on Thursday nights in the church so that all these people can start coming to our church, because it was my home church. I didn't see myself separate from that church. And the apostle told me this. He said, if the Lord told you to do it in the living room, then that's where you do it. He prayed for me. After a few days, he called me himself. He said, I saw a vision from God that nations were coming from everywhere, and what God told you to start in the house was going to explode to everywhere. I received that prophetic word because God had already told me. Now you think about it. If Apostle Leslie was an evil man, he would have wanted to keep me back. But he pushed me forward and even told me what God wanted me to do. He told me to push forward. When we bought the Revelation Church building, I did not want to start before, number one, honoring those who I was in their churches while I was here, but everybody that impacted my life. The first person I called was Apostle Gershon. And then after that, I called Apostle Leslie Peters. Now remember, the Lord told me to start in 2011, and we got to Van Nuys in 2016, I believe. And in early 2001, 2020 is when we acquired the Revelation Church building. That's when we acquired it. After getting Apostle Gershon, I immediately said we need to find Apostle Leslie Peters. So I sought him out. I called him. I said, Dad, I'm starting now. I finally got a building. I want you to come and see and bless me. He was like, okay, I'll come. I'll make time. I kept blowing up his phone. And finally, I told him, Dad, I also have a big seed for you. He said, okay, I'll make time. Then he came to Simi Valley and he came and said, wait, I thought you were talking about a small place. All this building. He walked in and he began to speak in tongues and pray in the whole place. Why did I do that? Because it is impossible to increase if you don't have spiritual authority. Then you don't have anybody to give you anything. You don't have anybody to deliver anything to you. I know you think God gives you everything. No, He doesn't. There are things God puts in people that it takes a posture of humility to receive it. And if you don't have the posture of humility, you're not going to receive it. I put my seed in Apostle Leslie's hand. I knelt down and he prayed for me and blessed me. Then I said, okay, who are the fathers of the land that God, I can get grace for them from them so that I can increase in what God has given me. I want to excel because I have the Elisha mentality. I have the servant's mentality because I know you can inherit what somebody else has. So what did I do? I went and I saw Bishop Noel Jones. My father facilitated that. I went and I saw Bishop Noel Jones and Bishop blessed me. Then the Lord told me, you need to find Bishop McClendon because he's a prophet and he's a bishop, but he's a prophet. And he was the star of the city. And the Lord told me, this man has the keys to this city. You need to go and see him and get what he has. I had never met him before that. What did I do? I took a $10,000 seed, went with my wife to see him. We sat in service. After service, we went and saw him, put a seed in his hand, and we left. And God told me, you did not do enough. Go and do it again. This time I won't tell you how much, but I took a bigger size of a seed. And I made sure that I took cash. After service again, and I remember Prophetess Chandel, my spiritual daughter, is the one who called to tell them, because after the first time they said, every time you come, just let us know, we'll prepare a seat for you. Because when I went there, I sat in the back, they moved us forward. When they found out who we were, they were like, okay. Then Revelation Church hasn't opened its doors yet. I took cash like this, hundreds. It was a big stack. After service, he was walking out. A van was with me. We went to Bishop McClendon. And I put the cash on his hand. Me and my wife knelt. The prophet began to prophesy. Your wife is pregnant, this and this. By then, there was no baby, nothing. But he said, I will have a son. So that prophecy came to pass. He said, this and this. He ministered to us. When I got up, God said, now it is done. I took the city from him. That is when the keys of the city were given to me. That's when I took them. It's wisdom. And I went and I did what God asked me to do. Why did I do those things and why have I shared it with you guys? Because I understand authority and power is delegated. If you cannot honor the people God set before you, you're not going anywhere. You're not going anywhere. Until now, I talk to Bishop all the time. When I need him, I call him. Sometimes he calls me. Sometimes we see each other at Ralph Lauren in Beverly Hills. He likes to shop there. We bump into each other all the time there. The last time I saw him was where we saw each other physically was New Year's Eve service, I think, or right after, or before. He was with his son. He just turned 18. Amazing stuff. Why am I telling you this? Because you need to understand authority and power comes because of a posture. You don't want to be gifted without power. You don't want to be gifted without a level of authority.